Hey there, this is your teacher, Mr. H, and you're watching a special episode of History in a Hoodie Standard Smackdown! I'm here to get you ready for your upcoming unit test by breaking down the world culture of standards. My goal is your A, so let's get this show started. The first geography standard reads, locate on a world and regional map the Sahara, Sahel, Savannah, tropical rainforest, Congo River, Niger River, Nile River, Lake Victoria, Great Rift Valley, Mount Kilimanjaro, Atlas Mountains, and Kalahari Desert. Africa has 4 biome regions. The Sahara Desert covers the northern third of the continent, and the Kalahari Desert makes up a small region in southwest Africa. Bordering the Sahara to the south is the Sahel, the semi-desert borderland region. The tropical rainforest is on the equator on the Atlantic coast and covers most of the Congo River basin. Finally, the savanna region is pretty much everywhere else in Africa, especially on the eastern and southern areas of the continent. Africa has many river systems, but the 3 biggest are the Congo, Niger, and Nile rivers. The Congo River is in Central Africa and, conveniently, flows through the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Also conveniently, the Niger River flows through the country of Niger and Nigeria in Western Africa. The Nile River doesn't flow through a similarly named country. However, it should be the most famous for its connection to the ancient Egyptian Empire in Egypt in the northeast of Africa. Other features are the Atlas Mountains in the northwest in Morocco, bordering the Mediterranean, Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest peak in eastern Africa, pretty much right on the equator. Lake Victoria, the largest lake in Africa, is found in eastern Africa too, on the Great Rift Valley. The next geography standard reads, locate on a world and regional map the countries of Democratic Republic of the Congo, Egypt, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, and Sudan. Yes, out of the 50-plus countries on the African continent, you only have to be able to locate 6 of them. The Democratic Republic of the Congo is right here, in the center of the continent. It is easily the largest country in Central Africa. Egypt is right here in northeastern Africa. It actually has a small peninsula that touches the Middle Eastern region. Kenya is right here in eastern Africa, near the pointy horn of Africa. It borders Lake Victoria, so look for the biggest lake on the continent. Nigeria is right here. It is one of the largest countries in Western Africa and is right on the coast. The Niger River flows into the Atlantic downriver in Nigeria. South Africa is literally in southern Africa. Can't make that one any easier. Finally, Sudan is in northeast Africa, a rather large country in the Sahara Desert region. The next geography standard reads, explain how water pollution and unequal access to water impacts irrigation, trade, industry, and drinking water. Water pollution has been a problem in Africa created by runoff from fertilizers, growing populations and their trash, and growing industry and their waste. These problems are compounded with poor government leadership to protect the environment. With shrinking availabilities of clean water from Africa's rivers, many people are becoming ill from drinking unclean water, and irrigation is becoming more limited, which also limits food production. The next geography standard reads, explain the relationship between poor soil and deforestation in sub-Saharan Africa. The leading cause of deforestation of Africa's rainforest is clearing for new land for farming. The soil cleared from rainforest land lacks the nutrients to properly grow crops and often gets eroded away quickly after the trees are cut. Because the land isn't producing, the farmers often quickly move on to cutting more trees, a dreadful cycle resulting in widespread deforestation. The next geography standard reads, explain the impact of desertification on the environment in Africa. Desertification is the growth of the Sahara, a result that no one wants because desert land is pretty much useless. The Sahel is shrinking yearly because of poor environmental practices like excessively grazing, clear-cutting trees, and over-farming deforested areas. These hazards are amplified in times of drought. The remaining good soil is eroded away and replaced with desert sand. People living in this land are less and less able to grow their own food or raise livestock, making life extremely difficult. The next geography standard reads, explain how the characteristics in the Sahara, Sahel, savanna, and tropical rainforest impact trade and affect where people live. The deserts of Africa are harsh environments and are hardly inhabited, with the slight exception being the oases areas where freshwater springs make plant and animal life in the desert possible. The Sahel is similar to the deserts where only subsistence farming and light herding is possible. The savanna regions are highly fertile and very populous areas of Africa. Good farming happens throughout the year, and trade is increasing as infrastructure is built across the countries and the continent. The rainforest, on the other hand, is nearly impossible for travel due to its dense trees. The rainforest is home to many valuable resources, but most who take advantage of those resources live on the outskirts of the region. The next geography standard reads, explain the differences between an ethnic group and a religious group. Remember the hint with this standard. You cannot change your ethnic group, but you can choose to change your religious group. An ethnic group is people who share a similar heritage, language, history, and native homeland. Examples of ethnic groups in Africa are Bantu, Arabs, Swahili, and Ashanti. Religious groups are people who share a set of beliefs, worship the same god or gods, and follow the same traditions. Examples of religious groups in Africa are Christianity, Islam, and traditional African beliefs. The final geography standard reads, describe the diversity of religions within African ethnic groups. Africa's four main ethnic groups are the Bantu, Arabs, Swahili, and Ashanti. While in some cases a majority of a group may believe in the same religion, that does not mean the entire group believes the same way. Because most Arabs tie their heritage back to the Middle East and are connected based on the common historical event of the Ottoman Empire's conquering of North Africa, most African Arabs also believe in Islam. The Bantu of sub-Saharan Africa originally followed traditional African beliefs. However, when Christian missionaries from Europe visited the continent in the 1800s and 1900s, many Bantu adopted Christianity or blended parts of Christian beliefs into their traditional beliefs. The Swahili of Eastern Africa interacted with Middle Eastern Arabs in trading so much that their language and culture blended into a mix of Bantu and Arabic cultures. Finally, the Ashanti of Western Africa are a smaller and mostly isolated group that maintained their traditional beliefs. I hope all of you learned a lot from today's episode of History in a Hoodie, Standard Smackdown! If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Just kidding, I don't care about that stuff. But do make sure you study for your test. Bye now.